day. It's here. Sorry if I sound like ass. I don't feel much better. Whatever my wife had last week and into the weekend, I've officially taken that as my own. Yeah. So sinuses and coughing and all that crap. It's wonderful. Jean's on a bus, or will be getting on a bus soon to go to Nashville, so she's out for the rest of the week. You're stuck with me and my very nasally voice. I apologize. Feel free to get in touch. Visit rockmornings.com for all of the contact info. Listen to the show live on the website, rockmornings.com. And, of course, check out the daily podcast and register to win Workforce Wednesday. That's what it is today. Hump Day, getting you over that hump with those freebies from the Sweet Stop Sandwich Shoppe. Sign up online at rockmornings.com. Let us know where you're working on a Wednesday. Looking at 52 during the day today, somewhere around 50 degrees. Partly cloudy, and then looks like rain, maybe even some snow moving in during the overnight. Not going to be much better tomorrow, but then Friday and Saturday trending in the much better direction, heading towards the mid to upper 60s by the end of the weekend. Cha-ching, like that. Bad news, happy music coming up later on. We'll get to sports, all sorts of other stuff as well. And again, if you need something, rockmornings.com. Star Set and Disturbed in just a few minutes.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene on your rock station.
42 people going to lose their jobs in the town of Holmen, according to a notice filed with the Wisconsin Department of Workforce Development. The UPS facility in Holmen going to be closing. 24 part-time employees, 18 full-time employees. UPS says they will try to mitigate the impacts of the closure by offering work to affected employees in other positions where possible. Looks like that facility going to close on June 10th in Holmen. Unwavering commitment, serving our customers, yada, yada, yada. Employees are extremely important to us, just not these 42. Well, that's got to suck. Working to place as many employees as possible in other positions, work with those who may be impacted throughout the process to provide support. But yeah, the UPS facility in Holmen shutting down June 10th. 42 people going to be without a job. Elsewhere, Jean-Claude Van Damme, accused of sex trafficking. Talked about this last week. Looks like he's fighting back against those accusations. A representative for the Muscles from Brussels said in a statement on April 3rd, just about a week ago, that the claims are both grotesque and non-existent. Mr. Van Damme does not wish to comment on or fuel this rumor, which is as absurd as it is unfounded. Romania's government and the Directorate for Investigating Organized Crime and Terrorism, which is one of their law enforcement branches, confirming that a complaint against Van Damme was submitted on April 2nd. Various reports from different Romanian news outlets saying that Van Damme is accused of knowingly having sexual relations in cans with 5 Romanian women who were trafficked. Some sort of gift. And Van Damme and his attorney or representative fighting back against those allegations. See how that all plays out. Deadly roof collapse in the Dominican Republic earlier this week. As of right now, at least 18 people have died. Over 120 have been transferred to the hospital. A nightclub roof collapsing. Video of it all over social media. The collapse taking place in the early hours Tuesday during popular singer Ruby Perez's concert at the Jet Set in Santo Domingo. National police in the Dominican Republic confirming that 18 people had died while 121 people had been taken to the hospital. Obviously, they're still working to drag more people out of there, and it sounds like a couple of former baseball players apparently were in there, and just, yeah. Deadly roof collapse at a nightclub in the Dominican Republic. Green Bay getting ready for the NFL draft later this month. So are the surrounding communities. All sorts of different things in the works. We talked about the supper club thing that they're going to be doing. We talked about the dive bar thing they're going to be doing. Apparently not going to be featuring very many Wisconsin beers That's when the money starts flowing in. You know, you get the major beer retailers. So the little guys, the craft breweries from Wisconsin, maybe not getting as much shine as some of the bigger breweries out there in the world. But they're also getting ready for the load management on the sewers. Typically, when Packers are at Lambeau, it's only a few hours, about 10 to 12 days a year, depending on how many games they play at Lambeau. But the draft will be testing the city's limits with thousands and thousands of people attending and putting a hurting on the sewage system there. So the city of Green Bay, Ashwaubenon, a bunch of other public works departments in the area doing a lot of work to make sure the city sewage system is ready. They've begun flushing out pipes. About 250,000 fans expected to come to Green Bay for the draft. There'll be a lot more waste over the 3-day event than the city of 107,000 is used to. Green Bay Public Works Director Steve Grenier said, what we are anticipating is 3 game days back to back to back. So if we can handle it on game day, all we need to do is make sure we're ready to handle it on 3 successive days. Checking the pipes, flushing things out, making sure they're ready. Trucks roaming around, ready to clean out your pipes at a moment's notice. Yeah, the surrounding communities are going to get whacked, too, because people, can't get hotel rooms or Airbnbs in Green Bay, don't want to pay the exorbitant fees. So they're trying to stay, somewhere in the area, Ashwaubenon, wherever that might be. And those communities are going to see some impact as well. A teacher's aide in Wisconsin, Polk County, Wisconsin, has been sentenced to 8 years of initial confinement, 10 years of extended supervision, repeated sexual assault of a child. 22-year-old Trey Jensen sentenced to that 8 years of initial confinement, also sentenced to 3 years of probation following his first sentence in 2023. The criminal complaint accuses Trey Jensen of assaulting a boy several times while he was in his care. The child told investigators that assaults happened several times at either the victim's home or Jensen's home. He said the assault started when he was 7 or 8 years old, and now that teacher's aide, former teacher's aide, Trey Jensen, going to be spending some time in prison and also on probation afterwards. Meanwhile, in New Jersey, looks like John Bon Jovi is having a little problem with one of the mayors because of his restaurant. A New Jersey mayor accusing John Bon Jovi of causing an influx of homeless people in his town. If you're unaware, John Bon Jovi and his wife Dorothea opening up a temporary location of their JBJ Soul Kitchen at the Ocean County Library in Toms River, New Jersey, and the mayor there not happy about it.
Hey, everybody. We are here to celebrate our 200,000th meal at the JBJ Soul Kitchens.
When we first opened, people did not understand our unique model of pay it forward. We are not a soup kitchen.
No.
We are not a pay what you want restaurant.
No.
We are a unique pay it forward model where those who are unable to pay volunteer their time. Those who can pay for their meal and donate to pay it forward.
This restaurant sat 33 people. Think about that. 200,000 meals served in a restaurant that sat 33 people.
Thank you, everybody.
So that is, of course, JBJ, John Bon Jovi, and his wife Dorothea talking about the Soul Kitchens, who provide meals at lower prices. Those in need can put in some hours at the restaurants in exchange for their food. The kitchen also helps people find jobs, housing, mental health support, and a whole lot more. The mayor there, a guy named Daniel Roderick, calls it a day shelter and a soup kitchen and says it's drawing homeless people to the area. He said, quote, mothers shouldn't have to walk through large gangs of intoxicated and mentally ill men with their children to borrow a book. I didn't realize they put these things in libraries. I thought they were more of a pop-up situation in an empty restaurant type thing. But in response, John Bon Jovi and his wife Dorothea said, quote, we invite anyone to the JBJ Soul Kitchen pop-up to see what we're doing to end homelessness and hunger in our community. The mayor there in Toms River not happy about the situation. Sports coming up in a few, also Disturbed. We'll get to that after Starset.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene on your rock station.
You know who it is. It's Disturbed. Down with the sickness. Hey, that's me. I don't know what it is, but it's sinus, and it sucks. Coughing, phlegm, nasally. Yeah. Speaking of Disturbed, in the midst of their 25th anniversary tour, celebrating the release of their initial CD. And a burger location in Indianapolis, Kuma's Corner. I've never been to one of these places, but apparently they've got several locations in the Midwest. Kuma's Corner in Indy, advertising there would be a band-themed, a Disturbed-themed burger and cocktail for their upcoming performance at the Gainbridge Fieldhouse. That show is tonight. The promotion, however, pulled as apparently several patrons voicing their opinions about the metal-themed burger establishment collaborating with Disturbed. Kuma's Corner said, after the discovery of recent events, we here at Kuma's Corner Indy have decided to pull the Disturbed burger and cocktail promotion scheduled to run this weekend. We sincerely apologize. This oversight on our end and the values expressed by this band are not a representation of Kuma's as a brand. We are using this as an opportunity to blah, 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 blah. But yeah, it sounds like because of David Draymond's support of Israel, vocal support, if you will, they're pulling this Disturbed burger and cocktail promotion they were going to run at this Kuma's Corner. David Draymond extremely outspoken in support of Israel, and that might have something to do with it. Not sure. I doubt it has anything to do with those banners that they burned in Chicago, but never know. Sports on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. The Bucks got a nice big win last night.
That'll do it. Oh, puck mark this one. The Bucks trail by 24, and the biggest comeback of the season, and the most dig deep moments of the year.
Giannis with a triple-double, his third straight triple-double, 23 points, 13 rebounds, 10 assists. Bucks are racing a 24-point fourth-quarter deficit to beat the T-Wolves 110-103 last night. Milwaukee now winning 5 straight, snapping Minnesota's 5-game winning streak. Their biggest fourth-quarter comeback since at least 96-97 when the NBA started keeping track of those records. The Bucks are at home against the Pelicans tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Hey, Pelican. Only 3 more games left in the regular season for the Bucks. Bryce Terang, Christian Yelich, and William Contreras all hit seventh-inning home runs. Churio doubled and tripled, and the Brew Crew beat the Rockies 7-1 last night.
And he got him. This one is over. Brian Hudson, a clean 1-2-3 ninth, a couple of Ks, and the Brewers ride their offense to a 7-1 win.
In Colorado again tonight, first pitch 7:40 for the Bucks. For the Brewers, against the Rockies. Grizzlies starting guard Jalen Wells breaking his right wrist on a hard fall on his arm and his head from a midair collision at the end of a fast break dunk during the 124-100 win over the Charlotte Hornets yesterday.
Oh, my. Oh, my
goodness, Jalen Wells!
Hey, sir.
Oh, boy. Both training staffs right now on the floor helping Jalen Wells.
Yeah, he was down for about 8 minutes before being lifted by medical personnel onto a stretcher with his head immobilized. He was taken to a hospital, had movement in all his extremities, according to the interim head coach there in Memphis. And I guess his dad also saying that he was alert enough to ask about the outcome of the game. So obviously being held at the hospital overnight and probably won't be playing again this season for the Memphis Grizzlies. Denver Nuggets firing their head coach Michael Malone and their GM Calvin Booth yesterday. David Adelman, the Nuggets lead assistant, will serve as the team's interim head coach. The move comes with the Nuggets in a 4-game losing streak. Denver, however, currently 4th in the Western Conference standings, so they're getting in to the playoffs, and got a chance just like everybody else. But they're like, we don't need the head coach. We'll do it without you, buddy. And the Houston Cougars unable to get it done against Florida in the men's NCAA National Championship game earlier this week. But that doesn't mean that they won't be one of the favorites next season to win it all. Bookmakers believe they'll be in contention next season. Duke right now the early favorite to win at the 2026 NCAA Men's National Championship. They've got plus 1,000 odds on ESPN Bet. Houston, second on the odds boards at plus 1,200, followed by UConn. And then you've got reigning national champion Florida. Their last national championship was the second part of a back-to-back in 2007. They're plus 2,500 to win it again next season. Tied for 12th at ESPN's odds board. Sports on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Again, if you need something, find our contact info online at rockmornings.com. And while you're there on the website, make sure you sign up for Workforce Wednesday. Somebody's going to get freebies from the Sweet Stop and Sandwich Shoppe in Preston a bit later on. We'll get to nothing more in just a bit.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com.
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Julie. Huh? Julie. Huh? Guess what day it is? Julie. Huh? Julie. Huh? Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Anybody? Anybody? Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Anybody? Anybody? Mike. Huh? What day is it, Mike? Huh? Woo-hoo! Mike. Huh? What day is it, Mike? Huh? Oh, come on. I know you can hear me. Leslie, guess what today is? Leslie, guess what today is? Leslie, guess what today is? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
It's hump day.
Hump day! Woo-hoo!
It is hump day. That means Workforce Wednesday. Your chance to win freebies from the Sweet Stop and Sandwich Shoppe in Preston. Get online, rockmornings.com, and sign up. Let me know where you're working. Do that before, 9:15, so we can pick a winner. Everybody's Live with John Mulaney on Netflix tonight. His guests include Bill Hader, Johnny Knoxville, Chelsea Peretti, and others. Episode 4 of Seth Rogen's The Studio on Apple TV Plus today. Also, a new episode of The Masked Singer on Fox tonight. Celebrity Jeopardy! Semifinals number 2 tonight on ABC. Roy Wood Jr., Natalie Morales, and Robin Thede on Celebrity Jeopardy on ABC. And also on ABC tonight, What Would You Do? A new episode of that. A husband trying to get his wife to post pictures online for money. Fraternity hazing and kids putting their health at risk for all-nighters. Late night shows, you've got Rami Malek, Jason Isaacs, and comedian Zarna Garg on with Jimmy Fallon. Kimmel's got Gene Smart and Lola Young. Cheryl Lee Ralph and Scowl going to be on with Stephen Colbert. Lizzo and Tim Robinson on with Seth Meyers tonight. That's what's on the old boob tube. I am caught up on the new Daredevil series. Finally put the suit back on. Kicking a lot of ass, taking a lot of names. That's on Disney Plus. Caught up on that yesterday. Caught up on the Good American Family series based on the Natalia Grace situation from about a decade ago. A couple more episodes. I think there's like 4 episodes out now, so there's 4 more to go. Got to wait for those to get released. Been watching a lot of baseball with my MLB.TV subscription. Did not watch Empire Records yesterday, though, even though it was Rex Manning Day. Should have. But I took a really nice long nap. Thankfully, the puppy, Remy, our boxer puppy, who just recently had her spay surgery, we've still got some meds from the vet to try to keep her calm, keep her from running around and opening up those stitches. So those have been a godsend while I'm trying to nap this week because I could use the extra sleep with my wife getting me sick. And yesterday she was more than agreeable to a nap in the afternoon, which was nice. Ozzy big concert coming up in July, the last one ever for Black Sabbath, at least for live in person. Obviously, we've heard about the rumors that Sharon Osbourne might want to do some kind of Avatar CGI thing at some point in the future, kind of like ABBA and Kiss. We'll see. But for right now, everybody's going to be tuning in on July 5th to watch Black Sabbath's last concert ever, featuring every single rock and roll and heavy metal band that's ever been influenced by Black Sabbath. Here's Ozzy now. Mama, I'm coming home.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com.
That is requested 7 Dust for someone that calls themselves Sweet Rolls. Got a text from, good Lord, Sweet Rolls. Said, will you play some old school 7 Dust? Thank you. I said, can do, and then I played it, and they said, thank you. You're welcome. Jesus Christ, could anything else in this friggin' studio break? What a hunk of junk I got to work in. Unbelievable. Every time that something breaks, they replace it with something else that's going to break within 5 minutes. What a piece of crap. I apologize. So, needless to say, that I got to add that to the list of things we get to talk about today. If you've got something you want to hear, let me know. Find our contact info online at rockmornings.com, just like Sweet Rolls. Is that because you have Sweet Rolls? Or are you making Sweet Rolls? Was there an incident involving Sweet Rolls? I'm interested in knowing the impetus behind the nickname. Where does the nickname Sweet Rolls come from? I'm assuming that's not the actual name at birth, right? Oh, we just had this beautiful baby. What are we going to call him? I don't know. Sweet Rolls. Bing. Probably not, right? Yeah, didn't think so. Maybe, though. You never know. Evanescence coming up in just a couple of minutes. Don't forget, sign up for Workforce Wednesday on the website as well, rockmornings.com.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Weekdays, 6 to 9.
Evanescence with Bring Me to Life. Microphone fixed for now. My apologies. My microphone arm in the studio snapped earlier this week. I think it was on Monday. Maybe it was last Friday. It was last Friday. And it was like right towards the end of the show. And it was the metal part of the arm itself. It wasn't a spring or a screw that fell out. It was like the piece of metal for some reason just snapped. And so it luckily happened right towards the end of the program, and I was able to just sort of Band-Aid it along until the engineer came in here. And of course, the new arm is completely different. It's a different size, so everything's a little bit off kilter now compared to the way I like it. And the new microphone holder, if you will, there's like I don't know what you want to call it. It's like a frame that the mic sits in, and it's got these little bouncy rubber band things on it to keep it from making a lot of noise and clanging around. Anyways, there's a very small, very short screw that screws this casing into the arm that holds the microphone so you can move it around. That's the purpose of the arm. That's the funny part about this. I've broken several of these over the 20-plus years I've worked here, and I always get crap from the company about it because I seem to be the only person that has this problem. However, these microphone arms are intended to move. They have knuckles and elbows and arms and springs. They're meant to move. They're meant to be in different positions. And so whenever they break, I'm like, then what the hell are we doing buying the crap that breaks all the time? Why don't we buy something that doesn't break? But yeah, so today the screw fell out and it went missing for a moment. And I found it, and I know you were very concerned about that, but needless to say, at least for the rest of today's program, I think I'll be all right. We'll see. These microphone things have been a constant thorn in my side. Lady near Philly went into labor 10 days early. It was actually on April Fool's Day. Had to give birth right there at the house because apparently the baby just went and came right out. In fact, listen to the father of the child describe how the baby came out.
I was due April 11th. April 1st, he decided to make his grand entrance. It started getting more intense. So instead of it being like 10, 15 minutes apart, it was like 5 to 4 minutes apart. My concern was me trying to actually walk down the steps and then he slide out.
Just not understanding the pain. So at that point, I was like, I'm going to shut up. And then I'm going to just assist. And then next thing I know, the baby slid right like a water park.
I had his head, and then I just set him out onto the bed.
Like a water park. Love it. Dad, I just decided to shut up And then the baby came out like a water park. Everybody's okay, by the way, mom and baby and dad, but that's an interesting way to describe the birth of your child. Yeah, you just, you kind of came out like a water park. This family in Chester, Pennsylvania, waking up on April Fool's Day, 10 days before the baby's due, probably didn't think anything was going to happen. Then all of a sudden, the contractions start. Uh-oh, we better get in the car, get ready, get the go bag. Baby said, nah, I'm coming right now. No joke. Danielle Roberts, alongside her husband, delivering the baby in the bedroom. No complications. Baby healthy, already back home. Apparently the kid's name is Braven. We call him Brave for short. Danielle, the mom, says, through the whole pregnancy, he's shown some bravery or had me become brave too. Just about a week old now, and I have an interesting story to tell at his graduation, maybe at his wedding as he gets older. But yeah, showed up just like a water park. Don't hear too many births described that way. We've got music coming up in just a bit from Shinedown and some Kid Rock. And again, if you need something, find us online at rockmornings.com.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find the daily podcast at rockmornings.com.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. She is officially on her way to Nashville. I think the bus left at 7 a.m. Got a text from her with selfie while in the van, driving with the daughters, getting ready to get on the bus and travel to Nashville, Music City. I'll be headed there later this month to go see Metallica. The M72 World Tour kicking off again. And they'll be hitting Nashville, Tennessee at the end of the month and in early May, and we're excited. Wife and I going down there and try to eat as much barbecue and drink as many beers as possible. Can't wait. Got a text from Sweet Rolls with an explanation as to where the nickname came from. It's a solid reason. Sweet Rolls says that, long story short, excuse me, I was going to tech school and was late for class, and when you're late for class, you got to buy everybody breakfast. So I went to Quick Trip, bought a bunch of those big-ass cinnamon rolls with all the frosting. Those are good. When I brought them in, one guy in class called me Sweet Rolls, and it stuck ever since. Yeah, sounds about right. Sweet Rolls. By the way, those things are good, but man, if you could be in a tech class with a microwave and put it in the nuker for like 5-10 seconds, get that thing nice and melty and warm. Oh, I don't know what it is about just a little bit of heat when it comes to cinnamon rolls, but it improves the flavor, the quality, all that. Thanks, Sweet Rolls. Appreciate it. Don't be late for class. We discussed earlier this week my weird Lyft ride with the wife over the weekend. Guy tried to recruit us into Scientology. Again, I was a little too drunk to realize what was going on, but my wife was very aware and yelling at me to get out of the Lyft at the end of our block. Didn't even want to get to the house. Probably didn't want the guy knowing where we lived. But thankfully, we did not leave anything behind in this guy's car, so no reason to run into him again. And I think the next time we order a Lyft, if he's our driver, we'll maybe switch it up and go with somebody else. But Uber releasing the list of the strange things that have been left in Uber rides over the last couple of months. Their annual Lost and Found Index. The most common things, of course, on the list are all the usual suspects: phones, wallets, keys, luggage, headphones. Some of the highlights, though, for some of the unique items that people have left behind in their Uber rides is a mannequin head with human hair.
What the hell are you doing out here, Fred?
I don't know what Fred's doing out there, but apparently Fred's got human hair. Ugh. So, like, is that from, like, cosmetology school? Something along those lines, maybe? A Vikings drinking horn. I don't know if it was Vikings or Viking. I'm guessing Viking. I got a buddy that drinks out of one of those things. Somebody left their chainsaw in an Uber. How do you leave behind a chainsaw? Like, I could see the Viking drinking horn. Maybe it's been a long night. It was on your belt. Maybe it kind of clipped off or whatever. But a chainsaw? There's got to be a lot going on when you're getting out of that Uber to forget your chainsaw. A turtle. Somebody left their turtle in an Uber.
I like turtles.
Somebody else left a urinal, a whole entire urinal. Again, that sounds like maybe at the end of a night of heavy drinking, somebody decided to steal the urinal and then didn't want to take it with them. But these are some of the more unusual things that have been found in Ubers, according to their annual Lost and Found Index. Shrek ears, so part of a costume.
What are you doing in my swamp?
Somebody left, speaking of costumes, another thing that might be used for a costume, a witch's broom.
Are you a good witch or a bad witch?
Hookahs, aquariums, DNA testing kits, unicycles, a giant bouquet of 100 roses, getting left behind in an Uber. Maybe got the text on the way over with the roses saying, we're breaking up, and decided to just leave them behind. Traffic cone, plunger, a cactus. Somebody apparently left some hard-boiled eggs behind. Speaking of foods, Uber also releasing a separate list of the 20 strangest food items that were left behind in Ubers and their Lost and Found Index. Somebody apparently didn't want or didn't need that 5-gallon bucket of beans they bought. That's a big-ass bucket of beans. 175 sliders, a bucket of feta cheese, a gallon of Sunny D. Somebody also left behind 108 eggs. Not to be confused with the hard-boiled eggs that somebody else left behind. But in this day and age, man, you can't be leaving behind those eggs. It's too damn expensive. I mean, people are talking about painting potatoes for Easter instead of eggs. That's how bad it's got. But yeah, annual Lost and Found Index from Uber. Lots of strange stuff, including a urinal getting left behind in an Uber. Shinedown are going to be on with Lou Brutus later on this week on Hard Drive XL. His featured guest this week, Billy Morrison. And, of course, you can hear Lou Brutus and Hard Drive XL weeknights at 7 p.m., and then we'll see him this summer at Rockfest. Here's Shinedown now.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Start your day with Rock Mornings.
If you're feeling groggy, no one left the gas on. It's the Masters. As we await our players on top of the leaderboard to tee off, now might be the perfect time to take that nap. We'll keep our voices down. And in fact, Vern Lundquist is asleep right next to me here in the booth. I'd like to ask our audio technician in the truck to give me just a touch of reverb as you rest easy and drift off for just a cat nap during the Masters on CBS.
It's kind of like that, honestly. Sometimes you watch golf and you're like, nobody's going to mind if I fall asleep here. You got to get caught up in a bar. You need to be careful. Taking a nap at the bar, they'll kick your ass out. The par 3 contest starts today at the Masters. So if you're looking for a nice little afternoon nap, maybe tune into that on CBS. Bucks with a big win over the T-Wolves last night, 110-103. They're fifth in a row. Bucks have 3 games left in the regular season. One of them is tomorrow night at 7 p.m. against the Pelicans. That's their next game. Bucks off tonight. The Brewers in Colorado spanking the Rockies last night, 7-1. Same 2 teams tonight, 7:40. Meanwhile, one of the best WNBA prospects leaving Notre Dame and going to TCU. Olivia Miles, projected number 2 overall pick in the WNBA draft, will take her talents to TCU. She's 22 years old, sending shockwaves through the college basketball world after foregoing the WNBA draft to enter the transfer portal back in March. Widely thought of as the consensus number 2 overall draft pick in the upcoming 2025 WNBA draft behind UConn star Paige Beckers. But it looks like she's going to stay in college and go somewhere else, take her talents to TCU. Meredith Gaudreau, the widow of late NHL player Johnny Gaudreau, announcing the arrival of their third child, Carter Michael Gaudreau, born on April 1st. 7 months, of course, after Johnny Gaudreau and his brother Matthew suffering fatal injuries when they were struck while bicycling by a suspected drunk driver. Meredith announcing on Instagram, quote, "I had our third baby, 4/1/25. Child has the same middle name and the exact same size and birth weight as his dad did when he was born." Also adding, he looks exactly like his daddy, too. Ugh. All the emotions every time that story pops up. And elsewhere in sports, the Carolina Panthers are going to pull a water boy, or at least attempt to, right? Tackling fuel. Panthers signing former Division I basketball player Colin Granger. So this isn't some slouch on a JV team. This is a D1 player. 6'9", 225-pounder Colin Granger, signed by the Panthers, will attempt to transition into a football player as a tight end. This kid's from Johns Creek, Georgia. Began his collegiate basketball career at Ohio University in 2020. Appeared in 25 games over 2 seasons for the Bobcats, averaging 1.2 points and 1.2 rebounds per game, so he wasn't all that impactful, but got in there for a few games. Granger then moved on to Western Carolina University in 2022, where he played 64 games, averaging 2.5 points per game and 2.4 rebounds per game, so he doubled up his stats by moving to Western Carolina. His final year of eligibility in college basketball, which was this past season, spent at Coastal Carolina University, made 11 starts over 31 games, averaging 7.2 points and 4.4 rebounds. This will be apparently Granger's first attempt to play football. It's like speed, right? You can't teach size. Some kids are just bigger. Some kids are just faster. You can't teach size. You can't teach speed. And Granger, apparently big enough that they want to make him a tight end, or at least attempt to. The Carolina Panthers. Best of luck, buddy. As LT said, don't smoke crack. Sports on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Got a text from someone talking about the things that have been left behind in Ubers. This person says, for the Uber lost and found, I had a scantily clad cop, a scantily dressed cop, leave her bedazzled handcuffs in my vehicle while driving Uber on Halloween. Did she try to reach out to get her handcuffs back? Or was that sort of the end of the relationship there? Was that you now have a memory of a scantily dressed police officer leaving her furry handcuffs in the back of your Uber? I will say, and I'm not going to put anybody's name out there, but my friends who drive for Uber or Lyft or drive cabs, if that's still something people do, they have no qualms about telling you the stories of the times that, things got a little misty and sexy and moist in the back of that cab. Much like my trucker friends telling me about all the lot lizards, which I appreciate. I love those stories. I think they're great. And I'm not going to put anybody's like personal business out there, but those stories are hilarious. Yeah. I've got several friends that drove Ubers and Lyfts for a number of years, and towards the end of the night, never know what's going to happen. Dead Poets Society and Pop People coming up in just a bit. Don't go anywhere.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com.
That, of course, Pop Evil with Wishful Thinking on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. She is on her way to Nashville for a couple of days. Might be back on Monday. I know the bus is scheduled to come back on Sunday, but it might be really late, and she may not want to get up and come to work on Monday morning, so we'll see. But you're stuck with me for the next couple of days. Don't forget, today is Workforce Wednesday. You can sign up to win freebies online at rockmornings.com. Help you over the hump with some free stuff, courtesy of the Sweet Stop and Sandwich Shoppe in Preston. Sandwiches and soups and cheesecakes and all sorts of other stuff. Also, you can find all our contact info online at rockmornings.com. Register to win date night. We'll give that away on Friday. Listen to the show live on the website. Daily podcast on there as well. It's Gin and Tonic Day. On top of it being Workforce Wednesday. Not a fan of the gin. Don't like it. I'm good. Pine needles, juniper berries, whatever the hell's in there. Ugh. I know there's tons of people, Gene is one of them, that loves a good gin and tonic with some lime squeezed in there, but you can keep that for yourself. Your boy here has no interest in any of that. No, thank you. What I do have an interest in is hot dog towers. So I don't know if you've ever seen one of these things. I know in the Midwest, seafood's a little bit different than it is on the coast, where I'm from, East Coast. But seafood towers are pretty popular in some area restaurants out there. You get oysters and shrimps and scallop, various different, and it's in like a tower form. Popular at like a buffet style. If you're going to like a show and they've got catering in the back, you might see a seafood tower there. But restaurants now apparently are going to be offering hot dog towers in exchange for seafood towers because they're more affordable. And I got to be honest, I'm in on the hot dog tower. After getting a look at some of these bad boys, I'm all about it.
Oh, my God. You look like the 4th of July.
Yeah, makes me want a hot dog.
It makes me want a hot dog real bad.
Yeah, you take a multi-tiered serving platter, put in different types of dogs all around it. All 3 levels can be hot dogs. You can also use a level for fries or other condiments. Of course, it is all about presentation. Once you get into the nitty-gritty of it, it is just fries and hot dogs. But still, imagine walking into a room and you see a serving tray, 3 tiers of it. It's got a whole bunch of different hot dogs, a chili dog, maybe a Chicago dog, a bacon-wrapped dog, some sort of, other dog, whatever. There's a place in South Carolina right now. They did a big story on them online. It's called Sir Wieners. And they are taking responsibility for the trend of the hot dog tower.
Ask me about my wiener.
Partnered with an upscale place called Lamar's last year. Added a hot dog tower to the menu. The owner of Sir Wieners says that people love it because it's over the top. And it's the perfect mix of ridiculous and delicious. Be cool going to a ball game, coming back to your seat with a hot dog tower. You got like 6-7 different dogs in that tower, bunch of different condiments, bunch of fries or onion rings in there as well. Hell yeah, I'm all about that. Hot dog towers apparently replacing seafood towers this year because hot dog towers are cheaper. I'd be all about that. All about that. Going to read some text messages and emails in a couple of minutes. Send yours by going to rockmornings.com, getting all our contact info. Right now, it's Bush.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Start your day with Rock Mornings.
That is Bush with Glycerine on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Got a text from Doc just a moment ago. Said, I've always had the same exact opinion on gin as you. However, at the bowling tournament, he was forced to try a gin-laced drink from a coworker of ours. Wasn't bad. Didn't taste like pine needles. I might be convinced to try it again. Yeah, I'm assuming pretty much any alcohol can be covered up with whatever you're mixing it with, but gin and tonic, gin by itself goes, I'm all set with that. No, thank you. No bueno. But you do you, Doc. You want to keep drinking them gin and tonics, you go for it. Got a text from someone who will remain anonymous. Was talking about Ubers and cab drivers and how things could be a little steamy in those situations after the Uber lost and found index we talked about earlier. This person said, I drove a limousine back in the day, and I said, I bet you have stories. He said, so many. Whew. I bet. Another buddy of mine talking about limos. Those things were designed to have sexual congress in the back, though, weren't they? I mean, that's what they're for. Let's be honest. Yeah, you can fit a lot of people in there, but really it's about having a little bit more room for activities. But a friend of mine sent me a message on Facebook and said, limo that a local cab company used to have back in the day, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I'm sure. My buddy Adam wants to go golfing. Said, if you want a random crappy golf partner, let me know. I want to get back into it. Haven't golfed in 12 years. It feels like I haven't golfed in 12 years. It's like every summer it comes around and it's either too hot or I'm too busy or I'm not in town. But I know a lot of the golf courses are opening up or have opened up. So I'm hearing you. Next week especially. It looks like it's going to be in the upper 60s and 70s. Thank you very much for the text messages. If you want to get in touch with me, rockmornings.com. Don't forget to sign up for Workforce Wednesday. We'll pick a winner for that right before 9 o'clock. And just a couple minutes on Blink-182. Don't go anywhere.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find the daily podcast at rockmornings.com.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene, getting reports of an accident on I-90 westbound by exits 3 and 4. Got a text from Mel, said, I think 3-car pileup on Interstate 90 going westbound between exits 3 and 4, backup. Thank you, Mel. Appreciate that. If anybody else has any additional information, feel free to pass that along. But that's the best I've got right now on that accident on I-90 westbound. Also a text from my guy, Pickles. He said he wants to go golfing as well. Played in high school, says pretty lame, but love the sport. Yeah, I'm not trying to golf to get better or to win anything. I like to get out there and, honestly, it's an excuse to day drink. That's the part I enjoy the most. Driving around the cart, having some beers. Occasionally, I'll hit a nice drive, and I can appreciate that, but the short game, it's like, I don't really care about all that. But thank you, Pickles, for the offer. Appreciate that. I'll keep you in the loop. Got to try to get out there more often this year than I have in the last several years, because it's been very sporadic. Kristen Stewart is 35, the Twilight movies and whatnot. Jay Baruchel, 43. This is the end. She's out of my league. How to Train Your Dragon. Goon.
What number you want to wear?
69! Take the number 69. It's hilarious.
It is hilarious. Jay Baruchel, 43 years young. Keisha Knight Pullman played Rudy Huxtable on The Cosby Show back in the day. She's 46. Gerard Way, the lead singer of My Chemical Romance, is 48. Jenna Jameson, 51.
I'm an ugly man. I know this. You couldn't be physically attracted to me, could you?
Physically, I am. You're smart. You're sexy.
What? Wait, excuse me for 1 minute. Robin.
I didn't say a thing.
Robin, go up to the cafeteria and get some lunch. Yeah, go ahead. Tell me more about me.
You're funny.
Oh, let me tell you something. You know what I would do to you physically? Do you know what I'm thinking right now?
What would you do?
I don't know what I do, but let me just say something. Whatever it is, it would last 3 seconds.
Yeah. Jenna Jameson from Private Parts with Howard Stern. She's 51 today. Kevin Martin, lead singer of Candlebox, is 56, and Dennis Quaid turned 71 years old today. Happy birthday to you if you're celebrating. On this day in 1865, 160 years ago, essentially, the Civil War came to an end when Confederate General Robert E. Lee surrendered to Union General Ulysses S. Grant at Appomattox Courthouse in Virginia. 1974, Queen releasing their second studio album, Queen 2. 97, 28 years ago today, Soundgarden broke up. They eventually reformed back in 2010. And, of course, Chris Cornell passed away in 2017. The movie Go in theaters on this day in 1999. Not a lot of people remember that one, but it was okay. And Stone Sour on this day in 2013, releasing their fifth studio album, House of Golden Bones Part 2. I don't know if you got to listen to the first one before you listen to the second one, or else you'll sort of be out of the loop. I'm kidding, of course. There you go. Some stuff that happened on April 9th, along with some birthdays. Again, if you've got any updates on that car pileup on the interstate, feel free to shoot me a text or an email. Let me know what's going on. We'll get to some Detroit and some Beastie Boys, plus the friggin' sports and bad news, happy music.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Weekdays, 6 to 9.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Just got a text from Ryan. Said it looks like an SUV got rear-ended by a car and spun sideways right before the Nutbush exit. So the exit lane and middle lane are slow. Again, I-90 westbound, apparently a multi-car accident, slowing traffic down on I-90 westbound. Thank you, Ryan, for the update. Appreciate it. Hit up rockmornings.com for our contact info. Don't forget to sign up for Workforce Wednesday while you're there. We'll pick a winner a bit later on this morning. Some other tragic news, if you will, in the world of yours truly. I started out the beginning of the year with a new light therapy for my psoriasis. I've had psoriasis for, dozens of years. I couldn't tell you. I've had it for a very long time. It's, anybody who suffers from psoriasis or eczema or any kind of skin issue knows it's awful to deal with. I've got it all over my legs, arms, parts of my head, ears, feet. It's not good. It's not only ugly and, distracting, but flaky and itchy and gross. And I've got a huge spot on my side that makes it very tough to sleep. And for years, I battled psoriasis with all the usual stuff, right? Going to the doctor, getting creams and topicals, occasionally get a shot. I got a steroid shot before we got married so that I had a spot on my face that I wanted to clear up for our wedding photos. But for the most part, oatmeal baths, light treatments, all the things that I did over the years, nothing really worked. Certainly not permanently. There was a short period of time where things would clear up for a little bit, but it always came back, and it seemed like it always came back with a vengeance. So, beginning of this year, I actually heard about this a couple of years ago. I went to see a dermatologist, and they said that now, with the light therapy treatment, they have narrowed the band of light, the prism, if you will, has been narrowed down so that the particular band of light that affects the psoriasis would be focused full blast on your body as opposed to just the full spectrum of light. And so this year, I decided to jump in head first, starting in January, and it was, supposed to be like 4 months or whatever. And after the first 2 months, you start at like 46 seconds, and essentially it's like a stand-up tanning booth. And because I have it all over my entire body, I went in there butt-ass naked every Tuesday and Thursday, driving from La Crosse to Onalaska and standing in a tanning booth for a minute at a time here and there. But it would increase about 6 seconds every time I would go in. And the first couple of weeks, didn't really notice anything. They told me it would be about 10 weeks before I might see some changes. And they were right. After about 2 months, towards the end of February, I did notice there was some, I don't want to say significant changes, but I could tell, right? Because I deal with it every day and I see it every day and I'm used to it. So I had talked about this on the radio and told several people about it. I have a coworker who's got pretty bad psoriasis. He's got it on his hands as well, which makes it really tough. And I had told him that I was cautiously optimistic because I had seen some improvements. It was the first time, and it was au naturel, because they certainly have other drugs out there now. You've seen the commercials. What is it? Cyndi Lauper's hawking one, Sky Rizzy, all these other ones. And I didn't want to go down the drug route because it's an immunosuppressant and all this other crap. So I figured, why not try the light therapy first? And, after about 2 months, I saw a little bit of improvement, and then that was it. It kind of plateaued, and unfortunately, here we are now about 2 months later, and it's, a month and a half. It's over. So I have stopped going to light therapy now for my psoriasis. It did not work for me a little bit, like I said in the beginning, but then it eventually plateaued, and it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's come back with a vengeance. It's not necessarily worse than it was before, but my psoriasis is definitely not good. So flaky and itchy and irritating and annoying and all the things that I've been dealing with for dozens of years now with psoriasis. So I did have a friend, a guy that I know, mentioned to me right around St. Patty's Day that he had heard I was doing the light therapy treatment and said that it didn't work for him, and he went with one of the shots. I can't remember which one he told me, but he said it worked. He said you go like every 6 months and you get the shot, and apparently it clears it up and keeps it at bay. I don't know if I want to do that all the time. Obviously, it's a genetic thing, so they're not going to cure it per se, but yeah, I don't know how often I want to go in and get an immunosuppressant shot, especially with colds and flus and all the other crap that's going around. So, but thank you very much for letting me vent. Unfortunately, psoriasis is a real mother effer, to put it bluntly. Little flakes of skin everywhere. It's awful. I could never get away with a crime. They'd be like, oh, look at all these flakes of skin. We'll just test the DNA, and oh, look at it. It's a guy with psoriasis. Yeah, I'd have to be like taped up like in one of those suits that you see in like a biohazard film, you know, head to toe, duct tape, all that stuff. Thank you for listening to me rant about my psoriasis. Unfortunately, tried it. The light therapy didn't work. Go back to the drawing board. Got an appointment in mid-May. We'll see what the doctor says then. Beastie Boys fighting for your right to party here in a couple of minutes. Right now, it's Bad Flower, Detroit.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com.
Yeah, it's about that time. The Kentucky Derby right around the corner. mint juleps, fancy hats, crazy drunks running on the porta potties. Is that something they do at the Derby, or is that the other one? All I know is that I love those videos. I don't know if they still do it, but Barstool had video of that for years. The crazy drunken college bros getting up on top of the line of porta potties and trying to run from one end to the other while getting pelted with beer cans. Now, I personally would never want to be the guy on top of the porta potties, but I'll certainly throw a half full beer at somebody up there just to say I did it. Kentucky Derby right around the corner. Big fancy hats are a thing, and this year, a big fancy cheese hat is making waves all over Wisconsin. The Fromaginator is what they're calling this thing. Is trying to be the piece de resistance at the 2025 Kentucky Derby. Part cheese board, part couture. The Fromaginator is a bold new expression of flavor, flair, fun, and Kentucky Derby Day decadence. Not my terminology, not my vernacular, but as a partner of the 2025 running of the Kentucky Derby, Wisconsin Cheese has released the Rinds and Roses collection, a whimsical collaboration with the Kentucky Derby's premier milliner, Christine A. Moore, wherever the hell that is. I'm assuming that's a hat maker. The collection transforms 6 award-winning cheeses into show-stopping headwear, merging Wisconsin's artisan craftsmanship with high fashion in a delightfully unexpected way. The limited edition collection honoring Wisconsin's world-renowned cheesemakers does look like you could eat it, but unfortunately it's not edible. Yeah. The handmade headpieces featuring Moore's signature hand-rolled silk roses, imitation cheeses, and other non-edible materials retails for $1,500 to $3,000 and will be available online starting on this week, at wisconsincheese.com/Rinds, RINDS, and Roses collection. I've got a friend, a former coworker, loves getting all gussied up for the Kentucky Derby, makes a big show of it. She's got all sorts of crazy fancy hats. I think she buys hers mostly in a secondhand store like that Prince song.
Taking him back to Nevada where he's wanted for banging horses.
She doesn't do that either, but she was very intrigued by this new hat. It definitely looks like it's got some delicious cheeses up there. I don't know if you want to be wearing it during the Derby. That cheese melting, getting all into your eyes and stuff and your hair. Ugh. But yeah, there's a Wisconsin cheese hat now called the Fromaginator, and it goes on sale on Friday for $1,500 to $3,000. I'm not quite sure what makes it so despairing in cost. If like there's additional cheeses you can add, or sizes, or materials, or what, but a non-edible cheese board looking hat that you can wear for the Kentucky Derby.
They're off. Good start. Cage Fighter, both of these nuts, they come away together. Both of these nuts goes for the front. Has it by a long neck. Cage Fighter not going away easily. And DF Dynasty 3 Green right there running third. Outside, bang, bang, you're gone, making some headway. Final 100 yards for both of these nuts. Cage Fighter trying to battle back. Both of these nuts. Cage Fighter, both of these nuts rolling to victory by a head over Cage Fighter.
Not sure if both of these nuts is going to be running in the Kentucky Derby this year, but we'll see. Friggin' Sports brought to you by the Kentucky Derby hats. This year's speciality, the Fromaginator. Get to wage war and bad news, happy music in just a bit. Don't go anywhere.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. More from Brian and Gene is coming up.
You're about to enter a beautiful, exciting, wonderful new world.
A cockroach living in your nostril. Now that's just nasty. Add in some haven't pooped for 30 days.
Poop is raining from the ceilings. Poop.
And sprinkle in some hashtag Florida Man for flavor.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man. Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man quits his Burger King job, steals all of their chicken nuggets.
It's bad news.
Bad news.
With happy music.
Let's rock.
I'm sure you remember rotisserie chicken guy.
Going to an abandoned pier behind a Walmart to watch a guy eat his 40th consecutive rotisserie chicken in 40 days. Sometimes you just got to see a win.
3, 2, 1.
You're an inspiration!
Oh, my God. All right, so I think this was, that guy was during COVID, if I'm not mistaken. But he did an online challenge where he ate an entire rotisserie chicken every day for 40 days. And on the final day, he was going to be at an empty pier, and he invited everyone to come down. And a whole group of people showed up and watched this guy eat a bunch of rotisserie chicken and shouted at him that he was an inspiration. Then we had the cheese ball guy, and I called shenanigans on him because when he said he was going to eat the whole cheese ball jug, we thought the cheese ball jug. And it wasn't the cheese ball jug. You know the one I'm talking about, the giant one at Menards or at the grocery store, the 5-gallon jug. Yeah, it wasn't that one.
I am allergic to gluten. And today I will be eating this entire jug of cheese balls.
Yeah, and I cried foul on that one because it wasn't the entire jug. It was more like one of those, Pringles cans. The larger size Pringles can with the cheese balls in them, which, hey, man, do you. That's fine. But don't go telling me that it's raining when you're just spitting in my eye, because that's what was going on with the cheese ball guy. Well, now we have a new guy. The new guy is Fitted Sheet Guy, and apparently he's a comedian, and he was doing it to drum up some business for his comedy show. This is in New Zealand, I believe, and he challenged a bunch of people to come to some location and watch him fold a fitted sheet, which, I got to be honest, not that easy to do. Yeah, I think we all start out with good intentions with the fitted sheet. Careful there, but at the end of the process, I usually just kind of roll it up and stick it in a bag. The regular sheet, the top sheet, fine. It's got corners. It's rectangular, square sometimes, but you can find those things. Fold it in half again. The fitted sheet, it's like, forget it. And I've seen people fold them. I know there's how-tos and DIYs and all that crap all over the internet. But this guy in New Zealand, a comedian, asked a bunch of people to show up at an outdoor shopping area to watch him fold a fitted sheet. More than 700 people showed up to watch this guy fold a fitted sheet. Somebody, obviously, a lot of people recorded it. It's all over the internet. His name is Dan Borman, and it was a stunt to promote his appearance at the New Zealand International Comedy Festival. But, yeah, kind of a brilliant idea. Take something that most people either can't or won't do, say you're going to do it live and in person, and see what happens. And a bunch of people showed up, like 700 people showed up to watch that guy fold a fitted sheet. I got to stop saying that because eventually I'm going to mess up. A New Jersey woman charged with 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder after an alleged murder-for-hire plot against her ex-boyfriend and his daughter was discovered. 26-year-old Jacqueline Diorio arrested after police caught her allegedly paying an informant money to have her ex-boyfriend, a 53-year-old officer in the Philadelphia Police Department, and his 19-year-old daughter paying someone to have them killed. Oof. So she's 26, ex-boyfriend's 53. He's a member of the police in Philly. He's got a 19-year-old daughter, and I guess she found what she thought was a Tinder date that she was going to pay to kill this guy and his daughter. Diorio allegedly intended to have the deed done by a man she met on Tinder. First met the informant on Tinder, so FYI, there's informants on Tinders. Back in late March, they met up at a Wawa convenience store in New Jersey, communicated via text and phone calls over the course of the next few days. Documents say that at one point, Diorio allegedly told the informant that she wished her ex-boyfriend was dead. And this guy's like, yeah, sure, I'll do it for you. Affidavit said the alleged target was notified of the plot by investigators April 4th, so just a week ago. He said that he had met Diorio when she was his barber, and they broke up on March 6th, so they weren't broken up all that long ago, just about a month ago. Had previously, the woman, Diorio, had previously filed a temporary restraining order against the officer, but had dropped it. The informant and Diorio scheduled to meet each other at a Dollar General. Boy, she's going to all the good places. Where she allegedly planned to pay the informant $500 as a down payment for the murders. The police on the scene after the deal was made took her into custody after the payment was made, and she was allegedly found carrying a bunch of drugs. Charged with 2 counts of first-degree attempted murder, 1 count of first-degree conspiracy to commit murder, and 1 count of possession of a controlled dangerous substance. Yikes. I don't know what the hell went wrong in their relationship, but man, she got right back on that Tinder to try to get Tinderized and try to get your ass killed along with your daughter. Wasn't willing to pay a whole lot of money for it either. $500 as a down payment. I don't know what the going rate is nowadays, but it doesn't seem like all that much money. Hashtag Florida man. Drunk. Wearing fake breasts. A pink wig. A pink thong. And eating good in the neighborhood at the Applebee's.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
Drunk man wearing a pink wig, fake breasts, and a pink thong arrested last Friday for creating a disturbance outside of Applebee's. Concerned diners had their eating good in the neighborhood disrupted. Daniel Cirillo, so intoxicated that he was unable to provide for his own safety and well-being as he was stumbling around the Applebee's parking lot there in Clearwater, Florida. Cops say he was extremely disoriented, tried to enter a vehicle that did not belong to him. When he was questioned by deputies, unable to answer basic questions such as where he was, where he came from, and what state he was in. Yeah. Arrested for disorderly intoxication, booked into the county jail. I think they gave him an orange outfit to cover up all his fake boobs and whatever else he was wearing. Following the night in jail, he was freed from custody, ordered to pay a total of $570 in fines and court costs, and maybe don't go to, was it the dollar margaritas, right? Did they got the dollar margaritas? Is that what did him in? He had too many dollaritas at the Applebee's. Went out wearing his best fake breasts and pink thong. I don't want to live in a country where you can't go out to Applebee's in your fake breasts and pink thongs. I just don't. It's not the country I want to live in. I want to be free. Continuing on with the bad news and happy music. 3 teenagers at a mall decided to assault the person wearing the Easter Bunny costume.
They were following her back to where her staging area is, tugging on her, pushing on her, pulling on, trying to pull the costume apart. Simply put, it's an unprovoked attack, just like what it sounds, on someone trying to spread joy in the lives of youth, as we enter the holiday season of Easter. How these 3 individuals came to the conclusion to act this way is kind of mind-boggling.
There's no point, guys. Don't do that to the bunny. The bunny did nothing to no one. Go run around the park or something, or play some sports.
Solid advice. Go run around the park, play some sports. The victim, a 24-year-old woman, returning to the break room while wearing the Easter Bunny costume, 3 juveniles approached her. 2 of them were age 13, 1 was 14. The first voice you heard in the clip there was Lieutenant Brian McGinn with the Naples Police Department. Said they were following her back to where her staging area was, tugging on her, pushing her, pulling on, and trying to pull the costume apart. McGinn, the police department officer there, said the woman is physically okay, but shaken up by the whole thing. 2 of the teens placed under arrest for battery. The 3rd juvenile met with juvenile civil citation for battery. So just going out to the mall and beating up the Easter Bunny.
You know what? There is no Easter Bunny! Over there, that's just a guy in a suit!
Little Jay and Silent Bob special. Last but not least, police in Kentucky responding to calls about a naked man walking around on a highway.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
Yeah, he's right there on the highway. He's walking around. When the cops arrived and found the man naked on the highway, they asked him what he was up to, and he said he was going to get some pants.
Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
Appeared to be under the influence of something, then became disorderly. Shocking, I know. Repeatedly kicking the door of the patrol car. This naked man on the highway in Kentucky, ID'd as James K. King, charged with indecent exposure, public intoxication, and disorderly conduct.
I'm pretty good in the pants department.
Yeah, this guy was not good in the pants department. Had no pants. He was Donald Ducking it. This guy also, by the way, had 6 outstanding warrants for arrests for things like public intoxication, criminal trespass, and possession of drug paraphernalia. So yeah, he got himself arrested. Probably spent a couple of nights in jail. Gotta wear your pants if you're going to be disorderly on the highway there in Kentucky. Bad news with happy music on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Get to our daily check-ins after some highly suspect.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com. Call.
Hello.
Email.
I tried emailing you.
Text. So many ways to check in with us. Check. We rely on you guys for traffic updates, requests, and all sorts of other stuff.
Check this out.
Hit up the website, rockmornings.com, for all of our contact info. You can also register to win prizes like Workforce Wednesday, which is your shot at freebies. From the Sweet Stop and Sandwich Shoppe in Preston, Naomi works at Prairie View Elementary, and she got hooked up with freebies from the Sweet Stop and Sandwich Shoppe just for signing up online at rockmornings.com. Thank you, Naomi. Appreciate it. But you're getting ready for summer vacay, huh? Working over at Prairie View Elementary. Each and every Wednesday, somebody new gets hooked up with freebies from the Sweet Stop and Sandwich Shoppe. You can sign up online at rockmornings.com for Workforce Wednesday. Let's see. Bunch of text messages. Thanks to Davey, who has psoriasis as well. His is strange, though. Apparently gets worse in the summer and better in the winter, which tends to be the exact opposite of everybody I've ever known that's had psoriasis. That in the winter when it's dry and it's cold, it gets worse. And then in the summer when it's more humid and warm and you're out in the sun, it tends to get better. But much like Davey, similar struggles with psoriasis. He said, it's mostly on my joints, knuckles, elbows, knees. It doesn't sound like mine is nearly as bad as yours, but it sucks either way. I truly think that it has everything to do with gut health. Also, another thing is terrible for you or I is alcohol, not good for psoriasis, but I decided I need to pick my battles, and that's not one I'm willing to give up yet. Yeah, same thing. Trust me, several years ago, I got involved in a workout program. I've never been much for exercise. I enjoyed playing sports when I was a kid, but as an older adult, that doesn't interest me. And a couple of years ago, I made the pact with myself to lose weight and get healthier. And of course, my psoriasis cleared up. I was eating better. I wasn't drinking as much. Same thing. I saw a marked improvement, and I could certainly go that way and be militant about it. But I like drinking beer and I like eating pizza, and it provides me with much more happiness than versus the sadness of dealing with psoriasis. But thanks, Davey. I appreciate that. We'll see what the doctor says in May when I go to the dermatologist again. Thanks to Ryan and Mel for updates on the accidents on I-90 westbound. I'm guessing that by now that's probably pretty cleaned up. Talking about gin earlier today. Today is gin and tonic day. Not a fan of gin. Don't like the flavor. Doc said he was exactly like me. Same opinion. Doesn't like the pine needle flavor, but apparently tried a gin mixer that a coworker of ours had a few months ago at a bowling tournament, and might be changing his mind. Might be coming around again. Talking about Ubers and the Lost and Found Index that they released. Several people reaching out telling me that they had some interesting stories about driving cabs or limos or Ubers or Lyfts. And yeah, much like all my truck driver friends, you get some drunk people in the back of your cab or your Lyft or your Uber or your limo or your semi. Some stuff's going to happen. Thanks for sharing some of those stories. Appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. We'll talk to you on Thursday.